Hey, what's up, everyone? It's episode 3, Mindset and Blueprint. And this is Coach Mike, and we have my
Ryan.
friend Ryan, Contractor Ryan, and we're going to be talking about a few stuff that's been happening. We haven't done the Mindset and Blueprint podcast for a couple of months already. Been busy, and we're gonna keep you up to date on happenings with Ryan and me. And just to start, I'm Mike, and I'm an online trainer. I do fitness, self defense, and basketball, sports conditioning, and the likes. And my friend Ryan.
Residential, commercial contractor. We focus for residential on additions, remodels like bathrooms, kitchens, siding, windows, doors, floors, roofs, whatever you need in your house. I've got a large network of licensed professionals that I work with. So if you need a plumber, an electrician, you can reach out. Website is morelconstruct.com if you're interested in that. I also do commercial retrofits for if you're opening a new restaurant or a sub shop or something like that, or a gym, whatever you're doing in the commercial field, you can hit me up for that. And I also have another company. We do commercial door repairs and installations. So if you have an aluminum storefront door, steel back door, any kind of overhead commercial garage door, so for your trucking, get your shipments and stuff like that, you can reach us up to at doorkingtoday.com.
And also, Ryan is also a stand-in if you need a macho man Randy Savage stand-in. This is the guy you call for. So just in case he does birthdays, bar mitzvah, everything. Even could be like your whether it's the bachelorette party, he does that too. So just in case it's a side job.
The dancing bear.
So if you need that, this guy does everything. So let's start. So I know one of the things that's been new with Ryan, and I just want to go straight to this topic, is he has started and in the process of his home buying journey.
Mm.
And so, as someone who bought a house a few years ago, I've been really like went in and I just trust Christine, my wife's path to how to get a house because I have no freaking idea. But as a contractor, I wanted to know what were your top priorities or must have features when
I wasn't like, so for me personally, my top features, I needed something with some storage because right now I'm paying $1,000 a month just to store some of my tools. And so I was looking for a garage. That was the main thing. And that's one of the big reasons I've never gotten an apartment or these townhomes. I probably could have, but a lot of the rentals, they didn't have storage that was suitable for my needs. So that's what I looked for mainly was the garage parking. Obviously, I have a lot of vehicles, so it would be convenient to have a nice amount of parking. But like as a company, what was I looking at? So my concerns with the house, I'm going foundation is what everything's built on. So if the foundation is okay, that's number one. And I think anybody, that should be their number one problem. Their number one thing that they're looking for is as long as the foundation's fine, everything else is fixable. Even the foundation's fixable, but you're talking about digging out around it. It's major work sometimes. And so that's what I looked for the most part, was the foundation, which is fine.
oh, when it comes to the foundation, what are the common things that's like, hey,
You,
the top three things that if a home buyer sees it, walk away from that.
so cracks in the foundation, you're more concerned with the ones that go horizontal than vertical. A horizontal crack throughout your foundation means that you have a better chance of it collapsing in, right? Because it's
Okay.
got a weak point going all the way across. Probably dirt's pushing in on it and it's starting to tip. So that's a big one. You don't want to see that. You want to look for water stains and protrusions coming in. So you can also smell in a basement typically, or if in a crawl space. You're looking for loose stones. So if any of the blocks are coming loose or twisting, that may be a problem. So you basically want to make sure that it's all vertical. You don't want things crooked in a
Okay.
foundation. You don't want cracks going across it. No cracks really, but that's the worst one. And then you're looking for water because you don't want water coming in destroying anything you put in your basement. You know what I mean? So those are the main ones. And then does it have good features? Is there a French drain that looks like it was recently done? Because that can give you a sign that there might be a water problem, that they just had a French drain installed prior to selling.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So how old is that system? If it's 10 years old, probably it's good. You want that.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And
okay.
they've lived there for 10 years, but if they just had it done, then maybe they're selling because there's a bigger problem. Still
Okay,
good to have
so
the French drain, but did they do it right?
I like that because I never really even considered that if it's a brand new French drain, that it could be a
Yeah. Why?
negative.
Why does it just happen to
Yeah.
be right now? You did it.
So, in your search, what were there any unexpected challenges or lessons you learned while looking for your current house?
Unexpected. I didn't expect it to be so difficult. I've been looking for a house for like 3 years. And
Yeah.
then anybody who has purchased in the last 3 years or so, I'm sure you all know that you probably paid over what they were asking if you did
Mm,
buy a house. So I was making offers on, and I was looking, since I'm a contractor, I was looking
mm,
for houses that were 200,000 and that could be
mm,
fixed. You know what I mean?
mm,
Looking for a good deal because I want value. Like this is an investment. It's not just a house, it's an investment. And I was getting beat out. So if the house is 200, I'd come in and be like, all right, I need 60,000 to fix it up. So I'm sitting at 260 for a house that'll be worth 400. So let me go 300 and I'll make 100. You know what I mean? Whatever the numbers are. And then I was getting outbid by hundreds of thousands of dollars and
wow.
in cash on top. A lot of them were like, no, we're
Wow.
only taking cash. And they were beating my numbers by hundreds of thousands. So I didn't expect it to take so long. The other thing is that nobody really tells you about. Everybody talks about make sure you have your down payment and you have your closing, right? So
Yeah.
at the end, you got to pay the closing, which is all the lawyers and title searches and stuff. But there's so many more things than just that. That's what people tell you, but there's the inspections that you've got to get done, tons of other things that nobody ever talks about. And it drags out the process too. The process is not short and I'm
Yeah.
constantly e-filing some signature 2 or 3 times a week. Luckily, I have people around me that I can call and ask to help me out because there's a lot that goes into it, pulling bank statements and my business paperwork that comes from the state and all these different things that they're requiring. It's overwhelming and it's stressful. But any other unexpected things, I'm not really just so much stuff to do. You got to check for like your oil, if there's oil tanks buried on the property, you got to scope the sewers and check the sewage lines. You got to do your inspections, and then what do you want to do with how much are we taking off the house because of what needs to be fixed? And
Mm,
I personally had to the house that I'm trying to close on right now, the foundation needed to be painted because FHA loan, their requirements are a little more strict than some
yeah.
other ways that you can get loans. And I had to go there and do fix the foundation. I had to go
Mm,
paint it. You know what I mean? Because there
okay.
was peeling paint, and peeling paint is a big thing for FHA. So I had to go do that, and I could have been like, hey, you guys pay for it, but I want to close. I want to get it done. And it's
Mm,
what do you do? I'll take the risk. I'll get it done
mm.
myself. Someone else, they probably would have paid 4 or 5 times what it cost me to do it.
My question is probably some of the viewers don't know what FHA is. What is FHA?
I don't even know what
Uh,
it is, man.
it's like,
Letters. It's just
well,
it's like a
um,
government. I think it's a government loan that gets the easiest one to get for people that are first time home buyers. You don't need to have as much down payment, all that stuff. I don't
okay.
know. Just give me the
So,
fastest way to
so,
purchase a house and let me do it.
so the better answer to that is the H usually is either house or
Google's the
Google it.
better.
So, how did your mindset as a business owner influence your decision making and negotiation during the home hunting journey? And would you change any of your negotiating tactics after learning what you did for this
Well,
particular?
let me start with the negotiating.
Mm,
The negotiating is always going to come down to what's your mind state, right? So,
mm,
how desperate are you for a home versus how can you wait? And first of all, I like things immediately, right? I'm an instant gratification kind of person, and it doesn't always suit me, but I want to do it now. Let's just get this done, and I'll deal
mm,
with whatever happens later. That's part of my personality. But like I said, I was looking for 3 years, and with this particular house, I'd made an offer originally and it's been on market for a while. And I made an offer, and then out of nowhere, someone else made an offer,
mm,
and then we started battling back and forth. And they went up, then I offered back, and then they went up. And I said, I'll meet that, but I'll match them, but I'm going to increase more of the cash that I'm going to give you. I'm
mm,
not going to take a loan for it. And then they were like, all right, cool, we're going to accept your offer. We're going to stop taking offers and then we'll reconvene on Monday because it was like a Friday. And then Monday came around and they sold it to the other people who came back
Yeah.
again and offered more.
Mm,
So then I'm looking, and if that person wasn't bidding, then I would
mm,
have had the ability to. I did my own inspection. I crawled under the house. I see some things that need to be fixed. And so it's $10,000, right? That's going to cost me to fix the house to get it to perfection, right? To a good, safe, livable standard. Inside's perfect. It was a few other things. So at that point, if I had no other bidder, I would have lowered my number. It would have been a poker game between me and the
mm,
seller, right? The seller says this is how much
mm,
it's worth. I look around at the other houses, see what they're valued at. I know how much it's going to cost to get their house to look like those houses. I know how much needs to go in it. So it's how bad do I want the house versus how much am I going to risk by saying, oh, well, it's going to cost me $10,000 to fix it. I can tell them it's going to be $25,000 for me to fix this. Let's negotiate. But I didn't have that opportunity because I was being outbid. I lost that house, started looking at other houses, found a house maybe 5 months later that I was about to bid on, right? It was going to cost, it was around the same price. It would have cost more to rehab it, but it was a great house. And the day I'm looking at it, I get a text from my realtor. Hey, Rye, great news. That other house you wanted, they backed out of selling to those people because they were like they were jerking them around. So now I came back, but it was my original price. So I
mm,
gotten up to 315 and then she was like, you can have it for 280 or whatever. So all that came off that I was willing to pay. So I was just like, I need a house. It's got the garage that I need. It'll
mm,
save me money. It's a good place to have as a home base. So there was no negotiating really at that point for me.
mm,
But it is about, it's like poker. How much do you want the house versus how much are you willing to risk? You know what I mean? But as for a business, I see it as it's a nice sized lot. It's in an area
mm,
that I think is going to grow. I think
mm,
people will invest in it. It's got a great, the schools are great in it, but so as a business, I can add to that house, right? I
mm,
can raise it because it's close to the beach. I can raise it, and so that would deter any problems in the future. And then add second level. I can add another wing. It's got a
mm,
huge property. I can make the garage bigger. I can do some
mm,
things to make money. So as a construction company, and even as just a person that's finally figuring life out, and it's all about bringing money in. It's about securing your future. That, from a business standpoint, I think it's a solid move, and I'm excited
mm.
for it.
So my understanding that you said it's $1,000 to store your equipment. So if you put that towards the mortgage or whatever,
So that's a
that's
third off of the mortgage.
so you're
So
taking
now I got a place for I own a house for what people are for less than what people are paying rent.
that's at the same time too. You
Plus, I
that's
can write it
tax
off, tax
that
write-offs
tax write-off.
for sure, and other things that go into it.
Yes. So we're gonna go through Ryan's house renovation and stuff in the future episodes, but let's just go back to where we started this podcast for. And looking back, what physical and mental changes have you noticed in yourself since starting your training?
No,
I know
mental
the
is
answer to that one
well,
because,
I'd love to
like,
hear
I
yours
asked us,
after. I'd love to hear what you have
let
to
me
say
hear
because
yours,
from the
but
outside, it's way different than from personal experience. But so I would say for me, my confidence has grown a little bit. I'm at an older age where it's not really about confidence anymore. I used to have crazy confidence when I was younger. Now it's more of a serious confidence in achieving life goals, and nothing's going to stop me from doing that. But the becoming active and healthy ensures that I'm going to live a longer life.
really,
And so it gives me a boost of, all right, what else can I tackle? What can I do? I'm always thinking of new ways. And this has only increased the fire for that. I can deal with so much more stress now. I think that when you're physically pushing your limits, that your mind adapts to that. And my mind surely has adapted to the amount of things that I tackle on a daily. And then all the repercussions that life itself has to try and create resistance. And so I battle resistance all day, and it's been tremendous for the mind. As for the body, I'm seeing definition that I haven't seen since I was very young, in my 20s, growing in certain areas, getting smaller in other areas. Clothes are fitting a little nicer. bending over. I think I've said this in the past, one of our podcasts, but for work, I always had to get on a knee. So if I want to take base molding off the wall or do tiling,
Mm,
I was kneeling. If I even picking something up off the ground, I'd have to
mm,
kneel sometimes. And I no longer have to do that. So my flexibility, my back problems have loosened up. It's not as tight. Rolling around on the floor, I noticed that the workouts has become much easier. Getting out of bed is much easier. Some other things are much easier. So, and that's the physical. I'm also I'm not, many of your clients probably do everything you tell them, right? And they eat
mm,
well. I've yet to incorporate that final piece of eating very clean.
mm,
So I've kept a lot of weight on, but
mm,
that's like I've also built a ton of muscle. So I
mm,
have burnt some and I've replaced it with muscle, so I'm staying the same. So the moment that it becomes too much or I'm tired of the way that I look or how sluggish I feel, or when you ask me to do push-ups and I'm like, God, I'm so heavy.
mm,
The moment that that becomes too much and I switch to that clean diet, it's a wrap. All this is gone and
mm.
I'll be sitting where I want to be sitting. So this is a long life that I'm going to live and a slow process that I'm glad I'm doing it with you because you're building up my body exactly how it should be from the foundation up, just like that house.
And I appreciate the time that the effort that you gave in and out. And to answer your question about my input when it comes to what I see in you is the very first thing is your conditioning. Because before we would have a few exercises and I would see you're not the type of guy that's going to quit, but I also see that no matter if you're not quitting, if you're tired, I see it as a trainer. I would see
Mhm.
telltale sign, maybe just wiping your sweat or coming sluggishly up to the next exercise.
Mhm.
I see that very rarely. I haven't seen that in a long time, except when you had back problems during one of our trainings. But other than that, everything is smoother. In fact, one of the things that you might not have seen when we were training today was when you had that strap around your ankle and
Knees.
you stood up. It went down to your ankle and you stood up like it was
Mhm.
nothing and you just waved it off. That's a sign that you have a much better core balance just because you're standing up without leaning forward. You just stood up. That we don't see that before. And I remember first few times when we were training, when we were doing just knees up or just doing lunges, and I see that
Mhm.
buckle on the knee, which concerns me when we first started because that was one of our goal is to not get you injured so that you could progress faster.
Right.
Another thing too is when you said about building muscles and the clothes fitting better, I like the fact that we have to tackle the fact that your muscle building is faster than I could ever build muscle. It's just that that's your nature, that's your gene. And if you pump and you lift weights and you do more movement, you bulk up. You see your muscles, you're gonna pop, which is great because now I see you're more upright. When we first started, I see that curve on your back that I didn't like, but you look big but curved back. But now
Mhm.
you look big because you're postured up. It's not
Mhm.
that you look bigger, but it's just that you postured up. That's why you're gonna look bigger if you're posturing up rather than sitting like this. And definitely one thing that I saw in you that I like right now is the positivity and your mood. Because before, I feel like when you come in, you're drained, and I know you're gonna have a tough day. We talked while we were training, so I know you're what you're up to, and just as a trainer, we need that feedback. So I need to know where to push you and what best when it comes to movements and stuff that you do. So keep that in mind for
Mhm.
me. I see that we joke around now. When we first started, it's hard. You don't know me, I don't, and you're learning, and now it flows better, and we have back and forth of what life is, and giving me ideas of what you do in the weekends or what's important to you. I didn't know you like basketball until one day you just said to me, "Oh, how I would like to play basketball," and then you said to me, "Oh, it's gonna take a long time," and then now we established today that you could jump without having pains on the knee and
Yeah.
putting that pressure on the knee. And remember what I told you, it's not the jumping up that that's the problem.
A landing.
And a lot of people forget that and they concentrate on jumping as high as they can. And then they land so much of their weight to their knees or their back. And then that's where the problem starts. Those are the main things. I might forget a few things because I've seen a lot of development for you in terms of movements. Before we can't do kickboxing, and you said that to me one time. I wish I could start kicking and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
then probably 3 weeks after or a month after, we were
Yep.
kickboxing. And I have much more confidence in you kicking because the first few times when you were kicking, you were off, you were losing balance, and that's what kind of concerning for me. So I said, you know what, let's concentrate on boxing. Let's keep, but in my mindset, it's just to keep it positive. It's not that to tell you that you can't do it, it's that
Mhm.
you can't do it that time. So let's do another way and get yourself back. So during those times though, before you started kickboxing, is I started doing knees up, one leg balance, deadlifts, and all that, squats. And then eventually you were able to kick. And that's our goal and one of the pathways for you to get better.
And you brought up the posture thing. I didn't even think about that. That's a huge thing. No, because I used to always be hunched over like this and neck down. You know what I mean? And just a simple thing, correcting your posture changes my perspective on things. It automatically becomes more light. Everything isn't as heavy. You're not
Yeah.
down, you're up. But I constantly am correcting and trying to crack my back and
Mm.
fix my posture all the time now. Where it used to hurt when I was hunched like this. All right, I'm going to sit right. I could get maybe 5, 6 seconds before that's too much work. And I come back.
Yeah.
And now, if I'm like this, it doesn't feel good. Now I'm
Yeah,
sitting.
you have to
It's
stand
automatic.
up.
I
Yeah.
hate being like this, and I love to be like this.
Yes.
So that's a huge thing, the posture, for
And
sure.
it exudes confidence when you're more postured up, when
I'm
you
sure
deal
it
with
does,
client.
and that people perceive it that way for
Yeah.
sure. You're like, oh, look how much bigger and taller he is, or whatever. But the other
Mm.
thing is, I can't. As mu I've always hated to take care of my core, right? My whole life, I hated core, didn't want to do it, and I always thought that it's probably what I should do because anything that's not good for us, or we hate, or that we dislike the most, is something that we need to step into to change, right?
Mm.
So I was dreading when I first learned about you and doing your program. I was worried about doing the things like burpees and all that stuff where you're like, I'm using my weight and movement and to create an exercise and a workout. I was super concerned about that because it's just sounds horrible. But today, or maybe it was the last workout. I think it was today when you had me doing the things where it was like
Modified Murphy.
it was the
Is it?
one where you had me pull my feet. It was a push-up position, and then I pulled my knee up on each side and then put it back. Remember
Okay.
that? I had
This
to
one.
get my knee. That was last week.
Last
That
week.
one got me kind of excited to start. Wow, I could really do this. So maybe
Mm.
I can do mountain climbers and not feel
Yeah.
so sluggish and
Yes.
that worry and concern about doing it left. So
I think that the reason why, by the way, it's Fiji. I'm not drinking vodka, just for everyone. When I was pouring something, it's Fiji. So
sure.
I know. Past my fasting, so I can't eat even if I wanted to. So what you were saying about the movement, when you first did the push-up, one of my concern was it's not that you can't do the push-up, it's just that you're directing your weight to your arms rather than trolling it
Right.
all over the body. When you first did the push-ups before,
Mhm.
I know you could do the push-up. It's just that that's too much pressure to put on your wrists, hands and arms as
Mhm.
opposed to just distributing your body weight to your core so that everything else would work when you're doing the push-ups. So that's kind of nowadays I don't even worry about that. I just give you the instruction. Do
Mhm.
this and add this one. There's always that one more movement besides the regular movement that puts you to the next level. And that's kind of how we're
Yeah,
working
I'm
out.
excited for it. All the next movements.
And also, with that, was there any habit or routine you developed during this session that surprised you with its impact?
I started going to the gym more frequently. So I remember in a past one of our podcasts, I was talking about how I never felt comfortable working out in the middle of gyms, doing
Exactly.
anything
We talked.
different
Yeah.
than what
Yeah.
I would normally do. So
Yes.
I didn't want to take what you were teaching me to the gym because I don't want attention, right? I want to get by
Yeah.
and not, I don't want attention anymore. I just want to do what I got to do, not cause trouble, but that's on a deep level. And
Mm.
now I realize that now I go to the gym and the first thing I'm doing is hitting the wall, right? I'm still not to the point where I'm taking up a mat, laying on
Mm.
the floor in front of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not there yet. It's also
Mm.
not a big gym. It's a 24-hour gym, so it's
Mm.
smaller. People can go there sporadically throughout the day. But I'm hitting the wall and I'm doing all that wall work where I'm doing knee raises, I'm doing the squat, I'm bending over, touching my ankles side to side,
mm,
twists, turning, touching the wall
mm,
behind me. And so I started, you know what I mean? I started to develop some of your habits and putting them into my life where I now feel comfortable enough to do it because I not only for just because oh I do this now, but because whatever you're doing for me is working in ways that I never could do myself. So this phase of my life is all about listening to people that have already done it and that have the
mm.
experience and that can shed their light and I can absorb that and then create my own thing from it. So that's one of the habits that I started to incorporate.
And it's great because it transfers generation to generations, and you could teach people that you love about certain aspect, and they would normally be a little bit like, hey, what's he telling me if he's not doing it? But if they see it that you're constantly in the gym and that you're working hard to better yourself, it's easier to translate that to other people. And hopefully one day you'd be also in the way wherein you're helping other people the same way as what I'm teaching you, that this is how it is. When my journey started, this is how I started, and this is what I could give you a tip.
I was at the gym the other day visiting someone's gym and I saw these kids and they're working out. And so there was a part of me that just wanted to go tell them, yo, make sure you do this because this is something
Mm,
I just recently learned, right? And
uh,
I'm 40 years old. I've been going to the gym since I was 15.
mm,
I just recently learned this one thing and I wanted to tell them, but then they don't want to hear from me. I'm just some old dude.
yeah,
I'm not one of the jack guys at the gym. I'm
yeah,
just a bigger guy. I can lift a lot of weight. I can handle
mm,
myself. But so, like, at that stage of my life, it's coming for
yeah,
instructions and trying to teach people stuff, but I still need a lot of inside work to get there. But I have been showing my son some stuff and it's cool to watch him get excited about working out. So,
yes,
there's times I tell him, all right, let's do some squats. And he does it. And let's do some sit-ups. And at first he was like me. Remember, I was like,
yeah,
I can't do a
yeah,
sit-up. What are you talking
yeah,
about? And
yeah,
then you showed me I could, right?
yeah.
And it's hard, but I could do it. You showed me what I needed to do. And he was like, I can't do it. And sure enough, it was like I held his feet and I'm like, you got this, dude. Just do it. And he did it. He was super ecstatic about it. So
That's an exciting part of
they're so willing. As much
like
time as and
kids.
whatever we put into them, they will
Yeah.
take and run with.
And if let's just say the flip side, and you don't do this and you just let go of yourself. When we first started, if you were that and you're not accepting of new things that's going to improve you, then what you teach them is just basically, well, huh, we could just play.
Yeah.
Who cares? That's movement. That's just squats. But you're teaching them the right way to do it, and it reflects on other people. And it's like in my kids when they play basketball, they were like, "Oh, it looks like it's natural for him to do basketball." And it's like, "Oh, he's gifted to play basketball." It's not really that. It's just he has the repetition to do it. That's why it
Mhm.
looks like natural. The same
Right.
thing as when you're doing all this stuff now, it becomes natural. When I ask you to change position, you just come up. You barely drink water now. Before you would reminisce the break. Now you're just like, what's next?
Mhm.
And that's how it is when it comes to training and stuff. And that brings me to my other question. Are there any aspects of your lifestyle that you've been adjusted because of your fitness journey, diet, sleep, or stress management? Like that, something that you've adjusted because of training.
Anything that I purposely adjusted? Up until recently, I was definitely going to sleep earlier,
Mm,
feeling well rested, waking up earlier. A lot of that has to do with my kid going to school, but I don't set an alarm. I just wake up now. My energy
yeah.
levels are much higher throughout the day. When I running at the gym, my endurance is levels beyond, but that's not really something that I consciously. I've been eating cleaner, so
Yeah.
I still eat well. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm,
not like some person who's like, I've got to eat carrots
no.
and this much rice. Nah, I'm gonna
Mm,
eat a good food, but I do eat cleaner. I'll eat
mm,
like yogurts. I'll have a good yogurt. I
mm,
eat chicken more so than sausage and the greasy
mm.
stuff. I don't eat as much of the carbs. I'm not eating pancakes, and it doesn't make me feel good. I feel tired and sweaty. So, I'm eating better, but
Mm,
I still have ways to go where I can just be, all right, it's serious, maybe serious for 3, 4 months and just eat all clean, nothing else.
mm,
I did cut down on my coffee intake. So that's a big one because I don't think that's good for me on many levels. The sugar in it's
mm,
not good. The artificial cream's not good. The
mm,
acidity of the coffee's not good. I think it gives me inflammation. So
Yeah.
Getting rid of that's a big thing.
Also keeps you hyper. I know how you are when you're answering calls and stuff. Imagine if you're coffeeed up and caffeinated enough in throughout the day, and the only time that you feel like you have energy is through caffeine. That's never gonna be a good,
That'll
yeah,
crash out. It's artificial.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then that's where your sleep patterns are weird too, because you still have coffee in your system, even though you wanna just rest up. Well, we tackled a lot today, and do you have any questions that you want to ask?
Do I have any questions? Not really. I guess we just completely skipped on me going southpaw. I'm just
Yeah,
not gonna do that.
yeah.
I want to be
Well,
well-rounded, Mike.
I know you
Um,
want to be well-rounded, but you gotta finish all those
I know.
the left-sided movement, dropping your hands and stuff
I'm
like that.
impatient. But no, I'm looking forward to some intensity increases, to be
Yeah,
honest. I need
yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Push limits.
And today we were doing more of the body conditioning movements that we never did before, the burpees, the
Hmm.
modified burpees, and all that stuff, because I
Yeah.
want to bring that to our workout routine. With all the movements that you have, you already have the core movements and the balance, the shifting, and all that stuff. I wanted to move faster, shifting from one side to the other.
As long as
Well,
we're protecting my back on it, you know what I mean? My
yeah,
back is the only concern. Other than that, I don't care. But you've been doing your thing. I trust you. I'm not trying to
yeah.
push, but I am looking forward to I guess that's calisthenics. Is that what it's called?
Body conditioning. So it's kind of you're using your body for the
My body
movements.
weight, dude. It's so
Yeah,
heavy. It'll give me
yeah.
such a good workout.
And that goes also for mixed martial arts movement, because now you remember when we did the mixed martial arts before, some of the movements you were doing it, but you were like, oh, you're getting tired doing it. Now it's gonna be harder, so I have to adapt to like
Yeah.
different MMA movements. So instead of
I'm
just the regular.
Dude, my knees and my kicks can go so high now. And to you, you're probably like, okay. But to me,
And
I
you,
feel like they're getting up there. My back is
the,
loose, so it allows my leg to get higher.
the most important thing is me as a self-defense based martial arts teacher. It's more like being able to kick at least above your waistline is good for self-defense and defending yourself in the street, because
Yeah.
you're not really gonna head kick some guy when you could punch a guy. It's just not
And they're
really
also going to hold the
practical.
knife a lot lower too, right?
So it's
You
kind of
can
you could do the wrist locks and all that stuff. You could
Yeah.
kick the leg out of the person. That's more advisable for me rather than kick the knife. I'd rather have the knife be controlled by my hand,
Yeah,
because
we're good at it.
much more control on the hand.
Yeah.
The kicking part, you hit or miss. It's kind of
Oh, he just stabbed my
oh
ankle.
shoot, I missed that one. What was that? Like I always believe in percentages. I
That
like
would be
high.
cool though. That knife stuff that you're doing, that was really intense. And I look forward to that too down the line. I
Yeah,
know it's low intensity, so it's not what I need it right now.
yeah.
But dude, the
Totally.
speed and the efficiency of which you can grab a wrist and take then like wild.
What we need to do is we could incorporate that in a faster way. We're drilling in a flow drill, so it's faster. So once you're drilling in a flow drill, it might appear like you're dancing, but you're not. You're actually being sensitive to your opponent and your hands
Mm,
connected. So when there's less connection on that, you force your
get
body to
into it.
connect to it,
Hmm.
because the only way you could detach a knife to someone is not that your hand is outstretched. It's when your body is close to the knife and you're
Yeah.
grabbing. And they can't move it because your control, your body weight. You gotta increase the distance of the knife to their body, and decrease, tighten it up to your body, decrease the
Mhm.
distance of the knife and your body. It has to be
Right.
tight to you. And the more you become sensitive to that, the more the flow is just
It'll be second nature.
and you could incorporate a faster flow by doing predetermined movements. What we do, the jab, cross hook, you already know
Mhm.
the combination to 1 to 12. And once we do the 1 to 12, when we start doing it, you just go in one after the other, and it
Mhm.
becomes more like a workout. It's the same thing with the knife. So we're going to work on that.
That'll be cool when that
Yeah.
happens. I can see the benefit of that too, especially with how crazy the world becomes more and more. To know that
So,
guy's got a knife, this isn't really that big of a deal. I do this all the
yes,
Everybody watch out. I do this all
yeah.
the
Hold on, leave it to the expert. Let
Let
me
me get
have
in
this
there.
guy. Let me get in there. So, thanks for your time. I know you've had a
I
busy
appreciate you, man.
day, and and we should have done it longer time, but you know what happened the
Busy,
last few
man. I know
months,
what happens.
and it's kind of personal.
This is the most stressed I've been in years. So I wasn't ready for it either. So
I know, I understand, and definitely I wish you all the luck when it comes to the renovation, and we'll talk about that. And definitely for future podcasts, that would be like the renovation that you did on your
yeah,
house
that'll
and
be
what
cool.
you could
Yeah,
recommend,
sure.
and your future transformation. And I'm really positive about your transformation, and I appreciate the effort you put on your workouts.
I'm not gonna stop, man. If you don't
Yeah.
stop, I'm not stopping.
I'm here. I'm definitely like you understand.
Yeah.
I told you whenever you're ready, I'm here for you, right? I appreciate you, brother. And for everyone, this is Coach Mike, self-defense personal trainer online and in studio here in Almada. Come and like train and hopefully make an impact in your life the way I try to make an impact in every clients like Ryan. And Ryan, you're
Got nothing to say about myself right now, but if there's anybody that is watching, I recommend if you're struggling with any kind of disability, something that's preventing you from being healthy, and you live in Central Jersey, that you reach out to this man. Down really quick, I have a damaged back with a leg that doesn't seem to want to gain any muscle. Lost. I've had numerous back problems my whole life. I've had back surgery, and I struggle to put socks on in the morning. And now I can put socks on in the morning with no problem. So that's the long and short of it. You're gonna get a great workout. You're gonna learn some cool stuff. Reach out to him. It's worth it.
Yeah. By the way, for anyone who's outside of the New Jersey, I also do online training. Shameless plug. So, anyways, I would see
That's
you in
true.
2 days,
Yes,
and
sir.
I appreciate you, brother, and take it
Happy
easy. Have a
Veterans Day
great
to all the
night.
vets.
Happy Vets Day, and thank you for your service. And hopefully, you guys have a great year ahead the next year as well. Out there.
America.
Yeah, Coach Mike,
Ryan Morrell.
Ryan, and see
See
you
you later.
on the next podcast, brother.
You have a
Bye.
good night, Mike. Bye.